Hey folks, it's Rob Flux here with one of my former students, Michael Horne, at his fourth project in, I guess, of the whole bunch of series. You've seen a couple of those real deals already in the field. Today we're talking about a 1 into 2 in Mitchelton, mate.
Mitchelton, yeah. Yep.
Now, project number 4. So let's start going back a few steps. Project number 1, you had to do that with money partners because you were, I guess,
in a JV
situation, joint venture situation, that sort of thing. Project number 4, now you've made a bit of cash and you rolled it over. This one's all on your lonesome, yeah?
Yeah, all on my lonesome, able to prove serviceability and add chunks of cash to also pay for the development. So it's taken a little while, but we're at that point now. So
and you've got a couple more in the pipeline. So
big one in the pipeline and 0-day job. So
0-day job, that's the best. Give me that. Give me that.
Oh my.
That's what it's all about, folks. So this is a 1 into 2. It's a fairly basic project. It's an 800 square metre lot in Brisbane City Council. Now we are very close to transport. We're only 200 metres away that direction from a train station, and you may even hear a train go past every now and then. Because of Brisbane City Council rules, mate, when you're that close to shops and transport and that sort of thing, you can sometimes squeeze these down to even smaller lots, but you didn't have to in this case, did you?
No, we didn't have to. Because we want to make sure the block of land was going to be big enough for a house to be built on, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. But we had to do some cosmetic work to the house, a bit of a nip and tuck to chop the back off. To make way for the block of land.
And we'll go and have a look at that at the moment. So what Michael saw was an opportunity that other people didn't see. So firstly, this was a renovator's delight.
Yeah.
And
couldn't live in it. No.
Yeah, it's quite poor condition, but the size of the house and the positioning of the house was such that the house was actually protruding into where I guess the other lot was actually going to go. So he had to shave a little bit of the house off at the back. We're going to go and actually have a look at that in a couple of moments and see how you've actually squeezed that. Plus a couple of other little tips, tricks and challenges that he had to overcome along the way. So give us 2 secs, folks. We're going to go out the back and show you some of the challenges that Michael had to overcome. See you in a sec. Here we are out the back of the block, folks, and what you can see is the vacant block of land that Michael has already started to carve out, and the house all the way at the back. Now, what you can see is vacant land at the moment, mate, but this was a bit of a jungle when you got it. So what was the condition that you picked it up in?
It was in terrible condition. It was definitely a renovator's delight. The backyard was just a backyard that had never seen a pruning device for about 10 years or a lawnmower. And it was in terrible shape. So definitely needed the renovation and the backyard needed clearing.
And there was a pool in there. How many people, had anyone swum in the pool?
There was a family of ducks, but even they were at risk of catching something.
So I had to clear the pool out, those sorts of things, clear the block and a whole bunch of challenges. Plus, the size of the house was a little bit long, and so you've had to shave the back of the house off.
Yeah,
mate, in shaving the back of the house off, you've shrunk the house and you've shrunk the block of land. Let's just do a little bit of math, though. So how much did you pick up the entire project for?
$835 at the peak.
Picked it up for $835. You've now shrunk the house and shrunk the block of land. What are you selling the smaller house for?
For the median in the suburb, $850.
For $850, so
completely renovated,
which means that the backyard is almost free, with a couple of minor exceptions of, I guess, some costs and some renovations and that sort of thing. So, not a bad outcome, mate. So high five for that. So almost a free block of land. Now, how much did it cost you just to shave the house off?
So what we did is removed an old extension, which was around 4 meters in length, and the cost for that was around $15,000.
And because
to make good on removing the structure and putting it back together again.
And because it was an extension, it was added onto the original house in the first place. So easy to do, engineering-wise, easy to solve that sort of thing. It's amazing how many times these old houses have been extended, and there is a nice, easy opportunity to actually remove that. You've got to see the hidden gem, and that's something that I think most other people looking at this opportunity just didn't see, mate.
No, it was a lot of hard work, I think, is what they saw and what I know.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple of other challenges that you had to overcome. So firstly, down this side here along the street, you can just see, I guess, one of the street trees, but there's actually 6 street trees that are blocking the potential for driveway access onto this.
Yeah.
And that created a couple of opportunities as to where you're actually going to put the driveway for that second lot, mate.
Yeah. So the block also is a bit of a Dorito or triangular sort of shape. So it's quite difficult to fit a suitable build on there as well. So we had 6 street trees, we had council car parks, and we also had a Australia Post mailbox. I don't know if people even still use those, but there was one there in the prime location where we wanted to put a driveway.
So just repeating that, there was a post box exactly where the only spot to put a driveway was that wouldn't get in the way of all those street trees. So luckily for Michael, I guess a member of our community happens to work for Australia Post and pointed Michael in the right direction to say, how do we relocate a post box, mate? So
yeah, it's not an easy process. I did raise a ticket with Australia Post, and 2 weeks later they rang up and said, it's okay, you can put your post box wherever you like. And I said, well, not my post box, your post box. And it was just a silence on the phone. So I raised that query as part of the masterminding at the back end of one of Rob's meetups, and it just happened to be sitting next to, somehow, thank you God, sitting next to someone who worked for Australia Post and was able to connect me with the right people. And my proposal to them was to move it next to the train station, because right now it's in a back street. And they thought it was a great idea. I thought it was a great idea. And so they relocated to the train station, also next to their little regional depot. So it was a win-win for everybody.
It's about seeing the hidden opportunity in disguise. So what we're going to do, folks, we're going to go inside the house. The renovation is, I guess, about 2/3 the way done. So a little bit of work still to do. We'll do a tiny little tour of that and then tell you all about the numbers that he's about to make. So see you in a sec. Hey, folks, here we are at the back of the house. We're going to give you a tiny little walkthrough, show you some of the work that Michael is in the progress of doing. We won't do the full tour, but you get a good grasp of where this was. Now, where we're standing right here, this little wall here is what was actually shaved off. Michael, how much did you say you actually shaved off of this?
It was 4 metres was the old extension we removed.
About 4 metres off the old extension. So if I stick my head over the edge, you can just see, I guess, where all that gravel and that sort of thing, that's where the posts were for the old, I guess, part of the extension. And all of these weatherboards that you can see here were all repurposed and placed back onto the house and gave it a nice look and vibe. But it did create a tiny little challenge. This wall that's right here, mate, that used to be a bedroom. And now you've got this little half cupboard that you've created. So what did you do to repurpose that?
There was the extension was an extra bedroom, a laundry, and a toilet. So those were obviously all gone. It was a 4-bed, 1-bath. And what we're able to do is, with this little void or this hallway area, we're able to create another toilet area and a laundry. So the house then has 2 toilets and a little laundry rather than being under the house.
There you go. So let's do the very, very quick guided tour. So, mate, you can lead the charge, and off we go into the guided tour. So,
So we got the little laundry here,
some barn doors.
Yep, some barn doors. Laundry. It's obviously the builders are still working away, and the toilet. So that you obviously got to have 2 toilets in a house, and it was a bit of a wasted space anyway. So. It was a good little opportunity to take advantage of that and not have the laundry under the house.
Very good. The other thing that you've clearly done is floorboards. You've polished all those floorboards. Excuse the dirt on the brand new shoes, but that's okay.
Yeah, look, the floors, the actual timber floors were fantastic. So all we had to do was polish them. The house received a full paint inside and out. New fixtures, so fans, all touch point. New kitchen, so we completely gutted the kitchen out. The tilers have got to come through and finish off, or we've put a nice stone bench top and a nice basic white kitchen in here.
And where'd you source your kitchen from, mate?
It was a Bunnings kitchen because they're actually quite good quality and easy to put together, and the lead time was a lot less than a standard kitchen from anywhere else.
Clearly, you got your RenoSave discounts in.
And of course, I used my RenoSave card, and I was able to save, I think in total, probably at about 10 grand for the kitchen, and the savings was maybe $500 or $600, so which was good. So it's a bit of an odd floor plan, but we've got the 3 bedrooms. The bathroom we had to completely gut and start again. It's a bit of a storage area while the floors are getting done, but it was really disgusting. You could not live in that or use that bathroom condition it was in. What we've got through here is the lounge room and the dining area. So pretty reasonable size space. All original features. What do you call it? Art Deco type features. So that's good.
New curtains, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. We look at over your shoulder at a window. There's a little bit of a story about this window. Tell us about the story on that and kind of join you So what happened out this window, mate?
So it would have been just as we're starting doing the renovation. We had the trades here. So I've got some security cameras set up, some Reolink cameras that I was able to that provide me a notification if there was unwanted movement in the house. Cut a long story short, I got a notification about 8 o'clock at night, and I was watching it turn on the computer, have a look at that, and there was someone smashing the back window in to try and break in. So I quickly called Triple O, and they were here police were here within literally 1 minute, and we're watching, there's various cameras set up, watching this guy trying to fill his little backpack with just rubbish, literally nothing of value because there was no tools here. As soon as he saw the police, he smashed the windows and then jumped out the window onto the ground. That's a 2-story house.
He's jumped out. We won't show you out the window, but it would have hurt, mate.
So he collected the camera. I'm on the phone still to Triple O, and he collected the camera as he went, so I was able to get some epic footage of him hitting the deck and laying on there, and then the cops jumped on top of him. So, and then the Triple O person said, "Oh, they've got him, but he's not in a good way." So.
If we can get some of that footage, we'll try to attach it to this.
Just a low life that unfortunately only lives a couple of houses away, so we're keeping a close eye on him as we're finishing the reno. But there's that many cameras here, he wouldn't be able to sneeze in the front yard without getting caught again.
Good tip and trick, folks. Make sure you've got security cameras on your sites. Mate, you've got some relatively cheap security cameras. What's the stuff that you use?
The Reolink cameras. So they've got a mobile phone SIM card in there, so they don't need Wi-Fi. And they've got a little solar panel on them and a little SD card. So you can dial in anytime, anywhere, and they're self-operating. So about $350 each.
There you go. So so make sure that you've got security footage on that. And for nothing else, helps you to capture some footage that you can then time-lapse and put into your real deals when you actually go to present them, folks, because that's what's going to happen in the not-too-distant future. Mate, this project, about March kind of to finish, do you think?
Yeah, but probably, titles, settlement around March next year.
There you go. And how much are we looking to lock in?
Profit-wise, about 280.
280. So
the numbers are pretty conservative, which is because the market's changed a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I guess the sales price for land around the area is quite good. You've discounted that considering your proximity to train station. It's both a positive and a negative. You've probably heard a train go past from time to time. But, mate, those numbers, I think, are very, very conservative. Thinking to get much better out of that. So
fingers crossed, but it'll end up good either way.
And bigger and better things on the way, mate. So what's the one you've got locked in next?
The other project I have at the moment is a 5 lots. Just close to the suburb here, settle on that in March next year, and DA is already in with council.
Starting to step up deal sizes, and that's what it's all about, folks. Start small. Michael had to start with JV partners. Now he's keeping all the cash himself. Now he's rolling up to bigger and better projects. I guess has left the day job well and truly behind, and loving the process, mate. I'm loving watching your journey. So, folks, if you want to see Michael's full real deal story, make sure you come to one of our upcoming meetups, and you can see that in the not too distant future. So until then, folks, I'm going to say bye for now.
See you later.
Bye.